be a part of this platform, because I know God told me to help the helper, which means he's given each and every one of us, honestly, a message. He's given us something that we're supposed to deposit in this earth. And sometimes you may need just a little help to keep going, right? On those days that you feel like giving up, now you realize it's not just about you, it's bigger than you. And it's not even just about me, her wanting to bless back into me and not give up on me. She now can't give up on you guys. Like, you guys are invested. You know what I'm saying? So y'all just keep pushing just to keep going, even on those days where, she may not want to. Not she over there crying. Why are you crying, Jessica? You can use my blanket. I ain't gonna be mad. You can use my blanket.
I'm trying not to cry, y'all, but I'm crying. I didn't even, like, this is why I don't do scripted stuff. I want to be authentic as possible, because the type A part of me is like, girl, they always seeing you crying on your podcast. If you don't like it, just click off. To be honest, what got me crying was when you said is if I had to record this on my iPhone, I would. What that tells me is that you're even more invested than I even thought you were. Not because, and this is the thing, y'all, this is why, because we haven't been silent or apologetic about our relationship with God. Y'all, I'm trying not to cry, because when I cry, I sound like a man.
Hey, thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way. Hey, pray. Thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way. Hey, yeah.
You look real grown.
I look grown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a grown woman.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. Oh, look at the puppy.
I probably might be able to see.
Girl.
Is it still on? The thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's still on.
Okay.
I see you, girl. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whew. Father God, in the name of Jesus, girl, like, I don't think people really understand how much energy this takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all, it takes a lot of energy. Yo. Oh, that wasn't a complaint, y'all. It's just saying, hey, today is recording day, and we recording. We's recording. And if you don't know where you've entered into Just Ask the Podcast, where we create a safe space for influencers to decompress, have fun, and what else?
Just ask.
It's your girl Jessica S. Smith, and I have to give my girl her theme song every week. Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree. 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 Desiree.
She be hyping me up.
Cause you are the hype.
Oh,
You are the hype. You are the hype, y'all. Y'all been seeing us in different locations. I want to kind of tell y'all what's going on, because the thing is, like, y'all can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, that's right. The truth is, I think sometimes, and I'm learning in the 7-figure podcast community, that sometimes we get like overly analyze certain things and certain aspects. And because I'm type A sometimes, oh Jesus, and I know they get on your nerves, Desiree. Go ahead, show your face. It get on your nerves?
It don't get on my nerves. I think the beautiful thing is, as God is leading you to community, as He's leading you to connections, like, that's a part of the journey. Like, you have to learn how to do life with people that's not like you. I was just thinking about that this morning. I was like, God, I'm so grateful that one, He's taking me through this process of delivering me from the fear of man,
Mm-hmm.
the opinions of people, and how he doing it. I don't like it, but it's hilarious to me because it's so outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's allowing me to open up. And I was like, God, I'm so grateful that, because what it's doing is it's hindering me from showing up as my authentic self,
Yeah.
right? So even as we do relationships, if we're not okay with who we are, we're not showing up authentically for the people he's connecting us with. So, as I'm being free and delivered, it's allowing space for the people that he has connected me to. So Jessica is very type A. I'm just like hey, we here, we're going with the flow. It's good, it's great. She's like, oh my gosh,
it's not the way I
not the
see
way
it.
I see it.
It's
But I was
not
like,
the way I
it's not.
see it. Like, and I think this is just a whole transparent moment. I was gonna start talking about something else, but let's just go here. So I only learned that I'm type A because I've been in situations that revealed that I was type A. And even more so, I ain't gonna say no names, but I do serve type A leaders. So I expect what I am a part of, right? What I have to deliver for my leadership, that's all I can see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I can see. And so I'm in this space where it's like, okay, because I'm always in my head thinking, Desiree, like, and I'm just gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm always in my head thinking that am I being as good to her as she is to me?
What?
Because yeah. And what does that have to do with type A? If you keep listening, you'll find out. What it has to do with it is because Desiree has partnered with me on this journey. And can I say this? About how we operate?
Sure.
So Desiree, when I say she's my purpose partner, Desiree is invested in this, like genuinely, without funds, for Just Ask. This was the platform that she chose to sow into, that she chooses continuously to show. So, and it's not just her recording. No, this ain't just a recording. This is like, I am invested. And I feel like I'm about to cry. Jesus. I'm invested. I am, I want to see us grow, right? Because the moment I can start sewing back into her or doing whatever, financially for her, that's what I'm going to do. And so even the moments where I feel like I'm about to give up, I have to remember that I'm not the only one that's invested in this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why God sent you.
Wow. Because it's easy to give up when it was just you.
Yeah. Because it's easy to give up on myself.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got investment in this. Now you got some fuel in the fire with this.
Yeah.
And if I give up, then I'm saying I wasted, I feel like I'm saying I wasted your time. And what this has to do with type A is just not like, oh, I want it to look this type of way. I want to look this type of way, blah, blah, blah. It's really, hey, if I can't pay them, they're not going to do it. Or scared to ask, being afraid to ask for help. Or being afraid to, just take people at their word, because in your mind, this is all a part of type A personality that I've experienced. You might not experience this, but I've experienced. So I want everything perfect. I don't want just the same, I guess, what you call it, atmosphere or aesthetics. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not just making sure that I say the right thing. It's not just any of that. It's what's happening behind the scenes. And behind the scenes, something that I'm type A about is wanting Desiree to thrive because she decided to invest in something that God told me to obey on. And sometimes I feel guilty about that.
For wanting to be successful?
I wouldn't pose it like that. I think I would pose it like, for wanting to give to somebody that's given to me so much. And
so where's the guilt in that?
That I'm not able to do it right now. Not the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
You've told me. Now we gotta bring this up because I don't know how many people. I don't know. We always do this. We don't do scripts. We don't do and this just literally just came up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is a real authentic conversation that y'all getting right now. Cause she's like, why are you doing
Well, I'll say, so it came up because, so as she mentioned before, you may notice the scenes are changing. The scenes are changing because when we started, well, first she started at home in her office. So then when I came on and we started partnering together, I was in a studio. So I've transitioned out of the studio into a space where I live here. It's actually my apartment property that has amenities and spaces for the residents to be able to use, like offices and stuff like that. So, which was one of the main reasons that I chose to come here, because I knew I was going to be transitioning from that space as I was being prepared for the next one. But I have currently right now 3 projects, and I had already mapped out where I wanted to do each project based on, who they was, their personality, and based on the aesthetic that I had saw in my mind. So she's not the only one that had a certain vision. I had already mapped it out. But I think the thing that Jessica's learning, and I think that she's going to continue to learn, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with like who you are. Like if there's a type A personality there, it's there for a reason. Like it's not a mistake or anything like that. I think the lesson comes in how do you learn to respond to situations when situations aren't what you have expected, right? So there's two locations. So remember I said I had 3 projects, and there's out of 2 of those 3 locations, I can't use them because one, there's audio in one room that can't be adjusted. And 2, they made a policy change in one of the spaces, and so now it's not a free space. It's a space that now has to be deposited, which is not a problem. But I understand, the shift and the change. But I just there was just kind of like a lack of communication kind of thing about it, and so I've had to adjust. So I'm like, okay, as long as I still have a space to provide a space for my family, people to come in and still be able to create and push out what it is, I'm good. But, that I just had to be okay with it not looking how originally I saw it looking, and so we're in this space today because the space that we were in last week, the door broke. I've gotten locked in this office like twice, and because the door is open, you can hear the sound and the people coming in, they're constantly, showing the spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's when I was telling y'all I was ADHD.
And so now we're in a different location. And so, it's not what I've envisioned originally, but my thing is, I'm still grateful to be able to provide the space, because at the end of the day, we can have a certain look or whatever, but the truth of the matter is people are listening for the content, and sometimes we can get caught up in the look of a thing. If I had to pull my cell phone out and record this to get this message across, that's what I would have done. To be honest, I've invested a lot in the equipment and the cameras to give a lovely viewing and hearing experience. But at the end of the day, if I needed to pull this good old iPhone out to do what we had to do, then that's what I would do, and to make it look the best that I could. Just because I understand at the end of the day, sometimes, we can get caught up in the razzle dazzle of the things. But I'm just still grateful to be a part of this platform, because I know God told me to help the helper, which means he's given each and every one of us, honestly, a message. He's given us something that we're supposed to deposit in this earth. And sometimes you may need just a little help to keep going, right? On those days that you feel like giving up, now you realize it's not just about you, it's bigger than you. And it's not even just about me, her wanting to bless back into me and not give up on me. She now can't give up on you guys. Like, you guys are invested. You know what I'm saying? So y'all just keep pushing just to keep going, even on those days where, she may not want to. Not she over there crying. Why are you crying, Jessica? You can use my blanket. I ain't gonna be mad. You can use my blanket.
I'm trying not to cry, y'all, but I'm crying. I didn't even like this. This is why I don't do scripted stuff. I want to be authentic as possible because the type A part of me is like, girl, they always seeing you crying on your podcast. If you don't like it, just click off. To be honest, what got me crying was when you said is if I had to record this on my iPhone, I would. What that tells me is that you're even more invested than I even thought you were. Not because, and this is the thing, y'all. This is why, because we haven't been silent or apologetic about our relationship with God. Y'all, I'm trying not to cry because when I cry, I sound like a man.
You're a cute man, though, Jess. You still cute, though. And stop apologizing for crying. I wanted to say the N-word, but I ain't gonna say the N-word.
You can say it,
nigga, stop apologizing for crying. That's wrong. We want to hold all this stuff, and you better let it out. You crying cute though.
This podcast, cause my makeup done today.
It is. She got the lashes on and everything.
Stop playing. If I'm really honest, the more and more I go in this whole podcast content creation things, the more fear tries to come up on me.
Yeah.
Because some people are looking at me like, oh my gosh, you doing the doggone thing, boo, boo. Girl, you keep going, boo, boo. But I'm looking at my people that I admire, and I'm in the gap. I am in the middle of it, you know? And so while I'm getting the, hey, I'm proud of you, I'm also getting, hey, this is what you can do, da, da, da. And so that balance, the type A hears what I could do better more than the praise. That's so good. The type A hearing gets the understanding of there's always more to do. And so I don't get to settle in the fact that what I've done well on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't know who this is resonating with, but I'm just telling you that I'm in it. I am in it, and I'm learning how to, that's like, as far as creativity and being weird and loving the Lord, me and Desiree are on the same boat. But when it comes to things going the way I see it and her flexibility, I'm flexible with everybody else because I got to be. But when it comes to me and the way I want to show up in the world, I'm gonna be transparent. At some point, I always tell people this: I do not play about my name. Okay, there's several things I don't play with. I don't play about God. I don't play about my money, and I do not play about my name. Okay.
What does that mean? Your name? My
name is what people say. Shoot, my name is my brand now. I didn't even want to brand my name. I wanted to keep my page private. I wanted to do all this because exposures give you another level of people to be able to judge you or look at you crazy and all that stuff like that. I was just like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, why would you want me to do that? Let me be second. Let me be in the back. Let me stay admin. Let me, people can know that, oh, that's the redhead girl that's serving Coach D. I can be that.
Yeah.
So, let me stay over there, But now I really feel like I'm in a place where I can't go back. Even if the feelings arise that I want to go backwards, right? Back into a hiding place. I can't.
I just thought about last week what PG said. It was as he talked about the remembrance. He was more so talking about the remembrance of the transformation that he had been through.
Can I see you?
Sorry, I be forgetting. He was talking about the remembrance of the transformation that he had that he had been through. He couldn't forget that, which was why he had to ask God to help him not go back. And I think that's the thing, like, is we can go back, but what are we going back to?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, anywhere in your journey, if you really look back, like, you're not the same person you were, a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. So it's kind of like, what do you want to go back to, though? Like, you want to go back to, for me, as we talk, the Lord has been in his own kind of way delivering me from the fear of man. And he's been doing it in his own kind of way, which is kind of embarrassing. But now I'm now today, and this is a situation that just happened, very recently. So now on today, I'm like, I don't even want to go back to that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to go back to that person, because I knew the mindset that was there has shifted even this soon. And I'm like, wow, I can see the transformation. I can see the difference. I don't want to go back to that, even though that was comfortable. Yeah. Because that's what I knew at the time. I don't want to go back to that. So we can't go back. I mean, you can, but
I mean, you not really, because you're not even the same, because you've been exposed to too much. And I'm just being transparent. I'm not going back. And I'm definitely not saying that. And I'm not going to stop Just Ask the Podcast. I really do believe that people just being able to see and I'm going to talk to the viewers, because I used to, I probably used to have a time where I was like, oh, everybody just coming on their stuff. It's a popularity thing. And I'm learning that I have to ask myself, why do I want the numbers, right?
Yeah.
For one, the numbers, and I'm just going to make it plain and simple for you guys. The numbers allow the corporations to see that we have something. Yeah. And that's the business part of it. Like, you get the benefit of listening every week, and all we're asking you to do is share, like, comment, subscribe. What does that do? The subscribes and the analytics, the more you do that, it positions us to where I can pay Desiree. I'm just going to keep it. I don't know why I'm here, and I'm being this transparent. Yeah. But the likes, the comments, the subscribe, it positions me into the point where this is not a hobby anymore. This becomes a whole business. I am making investments, and I'm not frustrated. I'm proud of my investments, baby. 7-Figure Podcast was the best investment I could have made in myself. Okay? It provided me a level of confidence. It provided me a level of strategy. I was researching a lot of this stuff myself. Then when Desiree came on, she took a load off of me. Like, trying to not only be the mastermind of the content, but editing, recording, making sure I sound right. Like, all that was a weight lifted. You get what I'm saying? So now I can just focus on the creativity part, finding guests. When I ask y'all for these things, I want to give you guys, because y'all investing y'all's time and y'all's ears and y'all's energy into something that we're doing. It's not even I think, like, it might say Just Ask the Podcast, but Desiree is my team. It's just us right now. Yeah. And so when we say, hey, share, comment, subscribe, it ain't, oh, I'm trying to be big and famous. I can stay irrelevant. I'm just gonna let y'all know that I can really stay irrelevant. I'm that type of person. I'm at church. My pastor told me, she said, Jessica, you're the type that could stay in the background and don't ever have to touch the mic, be hearing from the Lord, and you're good. You're good because you're seeing the Lord move. That's why I keep doing this, because I'm seeing the Lord move. If I'm really transparent, that's about the only thing that pushes me, because I love God enough to be uncomfortable. Yeah. I love God enough to be stretched. I love God enough to do what's necessary for the kingdom, even if it's something I never imagined me doing. I never imagined me being a content creator. I never imagined me being a podcaster. Now, I might be lying as far as like the fame, right? And what I mean about fame is being well known. Yeah. I'm not famous now. Not at this current state. Do I believe that that's going to come? Yes. Why? Because I've been shown that. I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I want y'all to hear my heart on this, because sometimes we as kingdom people, and I've heard Desiree Danielle exquisitely say this, so I love that man. If I could get him on a platform, my God. But I've heard him talk about if we're pushing the kingdom, and we are, for the kingdom, why wouldn't we want to be famous? Because we're representations of the kingdom.
Yeah.
He's probably said it a little better than me, but but basically that's the synopsis of it. The mentor that I do look up to in the podcast realm, I've been paying attention. I've been studying him even the more. And the more I pay attention to him, I can see the biblical principles coming out. I literally just found out, girl, in an interview that I watched, they really pissed me off, but I'm not even gonna go there. In an interview that I watched, and if you don't know who my mentor is, my podcast mentor is, one of them is David Shands, and that's who I'm talking about. He said on his platform, the man was mad at him because he brought up that he prayed twice a day. I think it's 2 times a day. It's like 9 a.m. and something else. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just thankful that the man of God prayed, because that tells me that he's in the same kingdom I'm in. Mm-hmm. I don't. That ain't what time he prayed. A lot of people need to set up dates with God. Listen. That's what I heard. A lot of people need to set up dates with God, and that's what a person that I look up to is doing. And the reason why I would even want to push and promote him the way that I want to push and promote him is not just because he's a man of intelligence, because I've been following him for a while.
Yeah.
But now thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm about to break it down like this. So you got fans, you got followers, and you got disciples. I'm gonna say that again: fans, followers, and disciples. I was a fan, right? Because I was like, oh, he got a pretty cool situation going on. Yeah. Then I became a follower. I was like, I'm peeking in. And then after the summit, I became a disciple. What do disciples do? They go and tell what they're learning. Yeah. They go be the expression and the example of what they got as I'm intaking. I am depositing. I want to say that again. As I'm in disciples, they intake the information and then go out and deposit it. Whether they do it for themselves, normally they're doing it for a community, normally they're trying to spread the word. Like his passion and the things that he's done for me personally, I can't speak for nobody else, but what he's done for me, the intelligence that he walks in for me, the way that he loves his wife, what I get to see, what I get to experience. There's a clip I'm probably going to end up posting that I have from last year that he was dancing with his daughter. That is what I'm attracted to. Yeah. You can have the fame, you can have all that. It's a lot of these folks that y'all follow that I don't follow. I am disinterested. I am so not for it. Why? Because there's no substance there. Yeah. And so now becoming a disciple has brought me in closer. I ain't that close. I ain't finna act like me and Coach Dave be out here eating Philly cheesesteaks together. Even though he make them Philly cheesesteaks look so good.
I'm so tickled.
I'm going to go while we're in Atlanta. But what he has can stand alone, right? And so I'm in between this space as a content creator of seeing great people like Coach Dave. Y'all just had a moment, ADHD moment. I know. Because I got distracted because we in a new place. But I get into a space where I'm like, okay, there are people that see me and they watch me like, they're doing so good. And I'm not saying that Coach Dave, because he gives me accolades, but he's also pushing us, right? Yeah. And it's interesting that we recently we have these meetups or whatever on the 7 Figure Podcast, and we meet up on Fridays. And so that they do a message. So they go over something real quick and then they allow us to ask questions, right? And so I don't know what triggered this message, but Coach CJ, he mentioned, and I love him, like he cutthroat, y'all. He cutthroat. And right now, y'all are just in my mind. I'm just expressing myself right now, y'all. So, I mean, I'm trying to be as transparent. That's what y'all seem to like. And I need it. Yeah. I need it right now. So Coach CJ was, and this was so good, girl. You finna flip. Ooh. Okay. So he says that he called the type A people spreadsheet millionaires, to where if it's not on the spreadsheet, if it's not basically planned out, it can't be done, right? So we're not moving with the time. We're not moving with the different circumstances. And he says what has made him successful, what has made Coach Dave successful, what has made ET successful is that they go in knowing that there's going to be a failure somewhere. They're expecting failure. They're expecting something to change. They're expecting the unexpected, right? And he uses this example. He said, most people ask why bridges aren't sturdy. He said, if you go on a bridge, you'll see that it sways a little bit. Yeah. Right. And he said the reason why is because the conditions of the weather, if it was sturdy, it would be easier to, diminish. But because it has some loose in it, it can sway, and whatever it needs to go through, it can endure those moments. Yeah. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, because even in the place I thought, like even right now, I thought I was, being a bridge. If like I'm thinking that I'm being that bridge. Yeah. But in all actuality, when I'm put in a space where we having to change rooms, where I'm being frustrated about being able to be consistent with the content or whatever, and not just realizing that I'm being consistent with the content. Yeah. If I'm talking about, oh well, we in this room, and I'm gonna tell y'all why this is an analyst, because type A people, when they learn something, they gonna stick to it. Yeah. There's no flexibility with it. It's like, oh no, I gotta do it that way. To the point where, and I'm about to be so transparent. So one of the things that we learned in the podcast community was, and this is on the I guess the what you call it, the workflow, or the videos that we have to watch, because we watch videos to learn, and then we meet up to ask questions about the videos that we watch. So I'm giving y'all the tea because, and if y'all interested, just DM me. I'll probably put the link to the 7-Figure Podcast on here. But they operate like that, right? And so I'm trying to figure out where I was going with it, because I forgot. What was it? What did I say before that?
You were talking about
why I was bringing it up. So in one of them, they brought up the fact that, okay, be consistent with your background, your lighting, how to set up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's like, okay, so people can know what they're coming to. And I got that stuck in my mind. I was like, because Coach CJ said it, because Coach Carl said it, because Coach Dave said it, I got to do it. Yeah. Even to the point where even my content, I was starting to think, I was like, my content is not good because it's not what Coach Dave do. Mm-hmm. I never said that to you. I fought against that and won, thank God. Hallelujah. Because what's getting me on that platform right now is not me doing what Coach Dave did, is being inspired by what he taught me to do to execute in my lane. Right. But that's a whole nother conversation, right? So I got so stuck up in one detail. Y'all, this is a detail. And as I'm talking, you guys, I'm freeing myself. This is how I talk to myself. Y'all are hearing me talk to myself right now. As I'm talking to myself, I'm freeing myself, because the same way I took that concept of like, I'm not an entrepreneur, I don't know all of this stuff, this is not my lane. Like, that's not, if you've been paying attention to Just Ask the Podcast, you'll realize that we changed our saying. We changed our saying from Just Ask the Podcast, where we create a safe space for creatives and entrepreneurs to decompress. No, we changed the influencers. Why did I change that? Because I had the Lord kept telling me, you influence the influencer. And I said, God, what does that mean? I'm not even influenced. So I'm an influencer, and I'm not an influencer. Yeah. And he was like, that's a lie. That is a lie. Yeah. I'm an influence in my own lane. And God literally highlighted and said, hey, people are influencers, whether they influence the person A and person B or just one of them, because they're doing something for them in the lane that they're in, that they're progressing in. I'll never be able to influence a shelf, because guess what? I'm not no shelf. I'm trying to not burn biscuits for my TikTok people. I'm not trying to burn biscuits. Yeah. I can't influence you in the kitchen. But what I can do it's influenced you in your heart, because I know that I'm doing some hard work. I'm doing some mind work. I'm doing some healing.
Yeah.
I know I want to get to the heart of people and be a safe space for people, that because I felt at one point, I felt like I didn't have a safe space.
Yeah.
I didn't have a place where I could just go and say, okay, this, just like y'all saw me talking to my pastor. Hey, I'm a single woman, and it's hard to stay killed. Okay, it's hard to be out in these streets and just hold it down. Like, I want to be that. I want to be that. And it's scary to be that, y'all, because you don't know the responses that you're going to get from y'all, to be honest.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to be shared. You think you got to get all these high profile people to be able to have a voice, which that is good. And I just, I love the interviews that we've been able to do so far. Yeah. And I'm not interviewing nobody that I feel like it's just not going to bring that, whether they high profile or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of the people that I bring on the platform, you may not know, but you're gonna get a good word. You're gonna get a good interview. If it don't make sense, you're not just coming on the platform just because I need a guest. You see, it's me and Desiree today.
Yep.
This is not what this is for, right? And so, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? If you're type A like me, we have some opportunities, right? And I'm going to let Desiree talk to the type people that she be talking to, you know what I'm saying, that she is. If you're a type A person and a creative, I'm going to specifically talk to my type A creative people. Because when it's not like you see it, when it's not like you want it, but it's what God wants, that's got to be enough. Mm. That has to be enough. Yeah, y'all saw me in the beginning, like literally not even 20, 30 minutes ago. How long we been recording?
34.
Not even 20 minutes ago, I was crying. I was literally crying, saying that, I feel some type of way. But now that I'm talking it out loud,
yeah,
this thing is starting to heal me in a place. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to realize, just as Desiree said, that I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do, even though it's not the way I want it to look right now. And that was the whole point of what Coach CJ and Coach Dave were saying. Even to the point where last year, even when we started, I don't know which one of them said this. I think it might have been Coach CJ. It's like, he's adamant about, like, okay, if you're going to do virtual, do virtual. If you're going to do in-person, do in-person. It's some people that's like, oh, I want to do virtual. I was like, I don't know, fam. I don't know, because my coach this is what my coach said, that I shouldn't do that. But then the last one, Coach Dave, somebody asked a question about virtual. Somebody thinks somebody was new. Someone asked a question about having virtual people versus the in-person or whatever. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Coach CJ was adamant about it for the simple fact of the quality. And I want to be specific, because y'all not finna come for my coach. And I don't think he care either. Anyway, he a dog, okay? He a dog. So he said that, but for the quality, because if you're putting excellence out, like, we got quality work. Yeah. If you go look at my old work, it was trash. You hear me? Like, before Desiree, I wasn't getting it. You might get a video. You gonna get some audio. You're going to get some audio. The audio is good, but you ain't getting no video, okay? And so, and when you got video, it was trash. So he was saying that because everybody's not taking themselves seriously, as serious as you as a podcaster. You got the equipment or whatever. They're not, doing it. And so unless we sending out stuff to send to them, it's just not working. Literally, Coach Dave told us the other day, and I'm giving y'all these gems because I want y'all what's in my head, and how people that are able to be flexible can maneuver this way. Yeah. He said, I'm seeing something. He said, I did a virtual interview the other day. He said it did numbers. He was like, it did better than my live interviews that I've done before. He said, and I don't know if it's because how COVID has transitioned the way we do things. I don't know what's going on, but he said, I used to think that everything had to be done in the studio, but now I'm changing my mind. Mm. Coach Dave,
because you can do that.
to do that. And he just gave me permission to be flexible on my platform because I was telling folks, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was telling folks, if you can't come, if you ain't got the quality, if you ain't got this, if you ain't got that. And he did say, he was like, you would want to make sure that they have, you know, some decent equipment, and maybe that's something that I could talk to my guests through. So if you're not in the city, this is an open invitation. If you can't get to Birmingham, I would prefer to you be in Birmingham, but we are open to virtual encounters now.
Yeah.
Because he had to, I won't say he had to, but that helped me be more comfortable doing it as an option because he's seen the change. So what does that tell me? Jessica, be flexible. As long as you're doing the content, as long as you, and I don't know who this is for, I feel it so strongly. You got to get out of your own way. I have to tell myself that every single day. Jessica, get out of your own way. State your name and say, get out of your own way. What does that look like? Am I accomplishing the what God told me to do? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. I'm accomplishing it. Just ask is accomplishing it. Right? And so what do you have to do? You have to really get into the nitty-gritty of what God is saying, because sometimes we add and or subtract from what God told us to do based on how it's being done.
Yeah.
We really put ourselves in a position where we set ourselves up for failure. God ain't set us up for failure. We set ourselves up for failure because we can't be flexible enough in the vision. We stick to it. We say, hey, now boundaries, let them be boundaries. Like, I'm not, it's certain things on the platform I'm just not going to do. Yeah. I might can't think about it. I'm not doing my platform without Desiree. That's a boundary.
I'm so tickled.
That's the boundary I can think of right now. But I think that as type A people, that can resonate with me, especially type A creators, when we're not flexible, we really can miss out on the blessing of God. We can really miss out on the advancement of God. Even much so, and I know y'all about sick of me, but I don't care. Even much so with the Tabitha Brown situation, I never moderated before. Especially on a book. I had never done that before. But I had to be flexible enough to think that I could do that.
Yeah.
She thought I was going to be good, and I ended up being good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I end up being good. So for, what do you call your type people, Desiree? Type B, type?
I don't know. I just know what I'm learning is if we say God is a creator, right? I think even with the, kind of like type A, type B, type blah, 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 I think sometimes we just get to where we limit God to what he can do and what he want to do in our lives because we only see it one way.
Yeah.
But if he's a creator, he can create multiple ways for one situation if we allow him to.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I am is I had to take myself out of a box. One, because in my mind, even though I said I never was going to do hair for a living, I took on that identity fully. Like, I'm just a hairstylist. So me just being a hairstylist, that's the only way I was allowing myself to operate. So as I started to step back and really just, lean into God and grow and allow him to show me who he is, he's opening up more things and giftings and skills that I really didn't know was in there until I made a decision to just let them flow. Mm-hmm. And so being a creative, I've always been in a creative space, but in this season, I'm just learning that I need a type A Jessica because I can be a little free flowing sometimes, and just kind of go with the flow and be like, okay, well, it's done. But because I've been connected with Jessica, my mindset now is I can't control what I can't control. I can't control that, hey, that room is a dumb deposit, or I keep getting locked in this room and now we got to keep the door open and we keep hearing people. Now we got to move to another room. I can't control that, but what I can control is how I still show up in excellence. You know, making sure that the thing that I can control, the thing that I can do, that I am doing it to the best of my ability, and really showing God in that. So that's with anything, really. Like we can't get upset, and I think that's where like the anxieties and the frustrations come in at, is because things have happened and they're out of our control, and it's unfortunate. But okay, so what do we do from now? Like how you respond to that? I believe it's what God is looking at, which is our heart posture.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And so that's just kind of where I am. And I'm not perfect at it, because sometimes I get frustrated about stuff too, but I'm just like, okay, Lord, so what do I do now? And I just go with that. Like I think you just have to just continue to remind yourself, like, just like you said, I am doing what God has called me to do, even though it does not look how I envisioned it. Okay, cool. But I am still showing up, and I'm still showing up in excellence. Like you still showing up in excellence and still giving everything that was in your heart to give.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes from a place of, it can look like people pleasing and all that good stuff like that. But at this point, I think I'm coming to a place like, if y'all like it, y'all like it. If y'all don't, cool. Like it's cool. And so, I know it sounded like a whole rant today, but I think that it was a real needed conversation. When you were talking, and I'm going to end right here. There is a creator and a genius man of God by the name of Omar. And I'm not about to try to pronounce his name. How you do?
I think
you know
it's El-Taqori.
Who?
El-Taqori.
El-Taqori. You might be right, because that's how you spell it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going by phonics.
Omar El-Taqori. If you don't follow him, please do. Oh my gosh. And if you're familiar with Think Media, he's a part of that collaborative, right?
That's where I started following them from. Think
Yeah.
Media.
So Desiree been following him. I met him at the podcast summit last year. And the reason why I started following him is because during his presentation, he announced that he was a pastor. And it blew my mind, because I was like, you walking in this much excellence, like people were flipping out seeing this man. Like, I didn't know who he was. So I was like, why are they flipping out? And I went and told him, I said, hey, I didn't know who you were before today. And now I'm following you, but I'm not following you because of the gadgets and the light and all this stuff like that. I'm following you because you announced that you was a man of God, and that the gifts that you are living in now, the benefits that you're living in, is because what you sold into your church family. But that's a whole nother conversation. I pray to God that I get to interview him.
Yeah.
I want to so bad.
Yeah.
So recently, probably about the beginning of this year, his Instagram crashed.
No, his Instagram got hacked.
Okay. And even to the point where his profile picture still ain't on there. That's how bad it got bad, right? Well, luckily enough, he had done the business thing or whatever, going to get the emails or whatever. So the people that were on his email list are still getting great information.
Yeah.
But for a period of time, he was not showing up on Instagram. Because he wasn't able to, right? And on one of the calls that we were on, I think it was that free webinar that he did, he announced how frustrated it was.
Yeah.
He announced how frustrated it was to do it, but y'all, this is why we got to do what we supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right? He still had thousands of people on this call.
What he was talking about was he wasn't able to promote. So like the normal business thing to do. Oh shoot. Okay. I remembered. Okay. Thank you. See, I remember, you didn't even have to tell me.
I was about to form my mouth.
She be like, on the camera. The thing that he was talking about was he wasn't able to promote it like he wish he could have, because his Instagram was hacked, right? And this is what I had been thinking about. If you are being a kingdom influencer, right? There is a thin line that we have to find ourselves in what is normal for business and entrepreneurship, what the world say you should be doing for marketing and advertising, why we need the numbers X, Y, and Z versus what did God say, right? So if we put all this time, all this investment into this podcast platform and only one person saw it, like, to the world, that's a failure. Yeah. But to God, that's everything, right? Because he left the 99 to go get the one. He did. Right? And so if your assignment is just to put this out for that one person, you still have to be satisfied with that. That's so good. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he was saying. He was like, man, I wasn't able to promote it in X, Y, and Z. Like, I know I could have to really get the numbers in X, Y, and Z because that's what is normal. But at the end of the day, because he still showed up to do what he was called to do, it was still sold out.
Listen, that comes up because he could have really given up in that moment.
He could have.
He really could have been like, okay, it's not working the way I wanted to do. And it makes me think, because he's still showing up with a pictureless image as a profile picture. Like,
if you wouldn't already follow him, you may think it was one of them spam accounts or something.
Yeah, and it's not a spam. Like, he's still being able to, I don't know what he's working out with Instagram, but I don't even understand, how it happened. But I know that even in the midst of that, he's pushing through. Yeah. And so if he can do that and he can move the way he need to move and adjust and still this is the thing. He literally just started his podcast. He did. He announced his podcast right after the podcast summit. Yeah. So he hasn't been doing this a full year. And if we're in the kingdom, we already know that that's an attack. That was a whole attack. Yeah. That was a whole attack. You know what I'm saying? And so if we know this, if we know that we don't fight against flesh and blood, we know that we don't fight against the natural, we know that we fight in the spiritual realm. And this is not just in church. This is not just in quote unquote spiritual atmospheres. He's doing and being who he is all the time. This is something he said, y'all. Final thought. I'm going to leave you with a final thought, okay? We know we're talking about type A people, whatever. If I ain't said nothing else, I want you to hear this. I think it was one of his first episodes. The question was, he brought up the fact that he was like, I have people that come to me. Asking me, how do I balance kingdom and marketplace? And his answer was, there's no balance. I am kingdom and I am marketplace. I am that I am, like the Lord said about himself. I am that I am. And so if we're showing up to these places, it's no, excuse you, Jesus. We hold up for 1 second. I got to talk to the people. Yeah. Oh, you talking about my people? You talking about the people that I died for? Yeah. You talking about the people that you going to the marketplace thing and you not going to invite me too? This man said there's no separation for him. And so when we separate as type A people, we're bringing it back, right? When we separate it, that's when we, like she said earlier, that's when we experience anxiety. That's when we experience frustration. That's when we experience limitations. That's when we experience lack. And so the reason why it's frustrating to my flesh, which I saw was my flesh crying because my flesh doesn't like the situation. But my spirit knows that as I continue to push through, that the will of God is being done. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that God gets the victory.
You just said I had a thought. You literally just took it. You said your biggest thing is that God gets the victory. Type A, type B, type C, A, blah, 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 and NOP. Don't matter. Whatever the thing is in business and ministry, the thing that's going to keep you when things happen is your why, right? If you're, and that's a hard thing, right? So like if you're honest with yourself as to why you started something or to why you're doing something, if your why is, at the end of the day, I just want God to get the glory. I know God put me here. I know I'm doing this because he told me to. Then that's the why, right? So regardless of what comes up, because stuff gonna happen.
Stuff gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying? But if your heart is not, hey, what is my why and why I'm doing this? If it's all about you, then it's easy to throw in the towel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to quit. It's easy to not finish the thing that you started because we're self-focused. But it's like at the end of the day, God gave it to us. If God gave it to you, you know what I'm saying, then you got to finish it. Because he who started a good thing, he's going to finish it.
That's so good.
But he's using you to do it. And so you just got to stay connected, man.
And that's it. That's it, y'all. Y'all tell us in the comments what y'all thought about this. Are y'all feeling us, or not saying feeling us, but like, what did y'all think? Like, was this helpful? Was this beneficial to your thoughts? What are you going to do? What's your action steps after this? Because this was not a conversation that we planned on having.
Yeah, no.
I was about to start talking about something else. And then I got emotional. Oh, to be a crybaby. Y'all, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in each week. And we just love y'all. So let us know what it is in the comments. Until next week, life could be much more simple if you just ask. See you later.